Hello everyone! A little while ago I did a straw poll on what order halls you were still most interested in, and the warrior one got the most votes. Only a few more to go until we've done all of them, and this story takes us back to the very start of Legion, where Khadgar and the Kid and Tor, they teleport Dalaran to the Broken Isles to take the battle to the Legion, and it's either Sergeant Dalton for the Alliance or Eitrigg for the Horde that shows up, and they send us to either Don of Trollbane for the Alliance or High Overlord Saurfang, who are waiting for us at Crassus Landing.
Excellent, Commander. Daneth awaits you on Crassus' Landing. I bear an important message from Danath Trollbane.
I must speak with you. The matter is urgent.
Saurfang has not been the same since our loss to the Broken Shore. Though he led well and slew many, he has taken our defeat hard, Eitrigg says. Although I don't remember actually seeing Saurfang during the assault on the Broken Shore, but I might have missed him, or it might just have happened off screen. Either way, Eitrigg fears that Saurfang is determined to return to the Broken Shore, and although that part is true, he's not chasing his own death. His plan is to fly in and scout the ideal point of attack, while the demons are still drunk on their victory.
I'll wager Eitrigg sent you. His concern is noble, but unnecessary. Death is our likely end on those shores. You know this, yet I can see the determination in your eyes. Perhaps you have honor to regain there as well.
Now Saurfang, he's been with the Horde since it was first created, taking a position as a lieutenant for Warchief Blackhand, and he's always held a high rank despite the Warchiefs changing. His brother Broxigar, he sacrificed himself to save the world from the Legion during the War of the Ancients, and his son lost his life to Arvis the Lich King at the Wrathgate. To this, Saurfang himself made his way through Icecrown Citadel to reclaim the body of his only child, now turned into a Death Knight, and give him a proper ceremony in the Grand. He also tried to teach Garrosh Hellscream, like honor, no matter how dire the battle, never to forsake it. But Hellscream did not hold on to that wisdom, and he eventually became an enemy to the world. The Siege of Orgrimmar took place. The now Warchief Garrosh, he was kicked out of the mantle of leadership, and eventually Saurfang, he would become the leader of the Orcs, while Vol'jin and now Sylvanas, they took up the role as Warchief.
Make them pay, champion! Make them pay!
Look there upon that terrible sight. How many disasters must we face before we can at last find peace?
Don of Trollbane is an old hero for the Alliance who was part of the Alliance of Lordaeron. He joined Khadgar, Illyria, Trewellian and Curdun Wildhammer as they stepped through the Dark Portal to take the battle to the Horde and stop them from invading different worlds. They were eventually forced to shut down the Dark Portal and remain behind, while the world was unsure as to what happened to their heroes. Now with the Burning Crusade, the Dark Portal reopened and we met up with Danav, who has taken over leadership of the Sons of Lothar. We reported to him as we took on the forces within Hellfire Peninsula, while many fans wished for him to someday make a return and reclaim his home of Stromgarde. Even Danav himself mentioned this, but sadly that moment never happened, and instead he's been recalled from Honor Hold to aid the Alliance in his darkest hour. If he is to assist in his war, then he needs first-hand information. He needs to see the battlefield for himself, and since we were there and our record as a proven commander is unquestioned, he could use our insight, so we join him as he flies towards the Broken Shore, the place where the Alliance and Horde got the butt kicked by the Legion.
This place is filthy with corruption. I fear a long campaign awaits us. Look out! Evasive maneuvers! Get out of here, champion! I'll find my own way!
Both Saurfang and Trollbane are shot out of the sky, while we're able to make a safe landing. Now don't worry though, both of them will just make their own way back to Dalaran, with Trollbane hanging out in Hero's Welcome, and Saurfang hanging out in Crassus Landing. He's part of the Arcanite Bladebreaker Hidden Artifact skin, in which warriors they actually duel the legendary orc, and inspire Helgar to make them a better weapon.
Shrug off your wounds, warriors! Another battle awaits!
Harvey didn't say they would be so short.
That old seer is mad, but rarely wrong. Come, friend. More demons approach. Prove your valor.
Harak Fuln!
A Val'kyr approaches. We must greet her with respect. Come, heroes.
Are you worthy of
Hardgrim! Ulrich! Odyn has judged you worthy for his halls! Come with me to glory!
Watch over me from above, my brothers, and save me a seat in the hall. A brute has joined the battle, little hero. Come and meet your fate before your place is taken! My forces are legion. Your efforts are futile. What was that? Enough! I will break you myself!
Well, will you look at that?
At last! Ha ha! This is the glorious death Harvey promised me!
I say we kill the demon instead. Little hero, you have proven yourself a worthy ally. Will you stand with us, even though it could mean our death?
Ha! With all of us together, we may yet be victorious. Either way, I'll not go down easily. Let us be about it then!
I will salute your courage in the halls of Valor, or over this monster's corpse.
Your pathetic resistance only delays the inevitable! All will die to the Legion! Is that the best you can manage, weaklings? A few scratches? You will die like the insect you are! Fight on, hero. For me, the halls await. Enough of this! Face your destruction! You yet stand! Impossible! Death comes, but I will take you with me!
A valorous sacrifice! But it is not yet your time! Welcome to Skyhold! Here the brave live on forever!
We have made it to the Halls of Valor, which once was a part of Ulduar. When the Titan Keepers refused to follow their prime designate Odyn, their appointed leader, when they refused to follow his plans of creating an army of Valarjar, he decided to lift apart into the sky with the help of the Titanforge sorceress Helya. Over the ages, Odyn had begun to see her as his adopted daughter, and from his new domain, Odyn proclaimed to the Vrykul down below that any who would prove themselves worthy by dying in glorious battle, that they would live again in the Halls of Valor. Their spirits would be taken to the fortress and given mighty Stormforged bodies to become these Valarjar, Azeroth's foremost guardians. The only problem was that none of the Vrykul were very eager to step up and take the job of transporting the spirits back to his halls, since it would mean a life as a Val'kyr, cursed to be a phantom being. When nobody volunteered, Odyn decided that he would enforce the job upon some poor soul, which Helya did not agree with. They ended up in a heated argument, in which the two of them nearly came to blows, but in the end, Helya warned Odyn that she would return the Halls of Valor to Ulduar if he did not change his mind. With those words, Odyn had found his victim. He saw Helya as a threat not only to his plans, but to the very safety of Azeroth, so he struck out. He shattered her physical form and twisted her spirit into the first of the Val'kyr. Now Helya, she loathed Odyn for what he had done to her, but she also found herself unable to disobey his orders. As he commanded, Helya went out to transform more unwilling Vrykul into the cursed Val'kyr, and for ages, she and those unfortunate enough to join her, they were the ones who brought the souls of heroic Vrykul back to the Halls of Valor, where Odyn, he then trained and empowered each of them. The Titan Keeper had no remorse of breaking from the other Keepers, or for transforming Helya into the first of the Val'kyr. In his mind, everything that he had done was for the safety of Azeroth and in honor of the great titans of the Pantheon. However, Odyn would soon enough regret the choices he had made, as Titan Keeper Loken, he fell to the old god Yggdrasil's corruption, and he began to see the other keepers as his enemy. He approached Helya with a deal. He would set her free from Odyn's control, and in exchange, she would use her powers to lock Odyn and all those who followed him away within the halls of Val'kyr. Still enraged about what Odyn had done to her, Helya gladly accepted the deal. Odyn and his mighty Valarjar, they struggled desperately to escape the floating citadel, but not even their might was enough to break the barrier, and for many years, they would be imprisoned within the halls of Val'kyr. Helya herself was now free from her life of servitude, and she decided to forge a new home for herself and the other Val'kyr. Far below the halls of Val'kyr, she created a domain called Helheim, bound to Azrael's Great Seas, which would act as a final destination for many of the Vrykul spirits after death. Yet the darkness that had made their home in Helya's heart, it transformed her created realm into a place of nightmare and shadow. The souls of the dead Vrykul who arrived in Helheim, they found themselves turned into the vengeful beings called Gavaldir. Now not all of the Val'kyr actually stayed with Helya after Odyn's defeat. Some of them disappeared into the Shadowlands, while a few of them that still held a glimmer of nobility in their souls, they dedicated themselves to watching over the physical worlds. From within the Shadowlands, these Val'kyr would at times guide the dead back to the land of the living. So normally, one must die to gain entrance to the halls of Val'kyr, but times have changed. We are not dead, since Dennis was directed to collect us before our demise by Odyn himself.
Odyn awaits ahead. I will go forth and announce you. Be respectful.
I have foreseen the coming of a mighty champion to these shores. One who would slay countless foes and prove their valor time and again. One who would lead my armies to victory against the great darkness that seeks to devour this world. You have proven yourself the greatest living warrior on Azeroth. It is for this reason I have saved you. I name you Valarjar. Bring glory to these halls on the wings of my Val'kyr.
All here know who we are, and it's time for armaments befitting Odyn's champion. So we go out to collect the powerful artifacts, and upon returning, we use the Eye of Odyn to select the first area to quest in. The Legion thinks we're dead, so it will be quite a surprise when we punish them for that assumption. Now after kicking some butts of the enemies, gain some allies and grow in power, Dennis shows up with an important message from Odyn, who's convinced that now that we've grown in power, we're ready to take direct command of his armies, and he wants us to begin preparations.
Odyn awaits your arrival. His forces stand at the ready.
Now before Valarjar will follow our every command, we must prove our ability to lead, and there are two Vrykul champions, the ones who ascended with us into these halls, namely Ragvald Drakeborn and Vina Bjornsdotter, who are ready to follow our lead.
Our enemies will tremble!
Not wise to question Odyn. He says you lead, then you lead.
The souls that make it into these halls, they are brave, but valor alone does not make for an effective army. We'll need someone who can whip them into shape, so we send our champions out to send word to Captain Stahistrom, and upon his arrival, we're able to recruit more troops. Now that we have some troops to back our champions, it's time to send them out and have them deal with our enemies. One of our own has been taken prisoner by Odyn's sworn nemesis Helya. Einar the Runecaster is held at a village, but our champions are able to set them free, and his knowledge allows us to improve our order hall. Now what I found curious is that our Valarjar troops, they can freely move in and out of the halls of Val'kyr, since we gotta remember that at this point in time, Helya has not been defeated yet, and her magic should still be in place. I don't believe they've given a solid explanation as to why they can move in and out of the halls. Maybe new recruits are immune to her spell work, I have no idea, but at the same time, it would make for a very difficult campaign if everyone was just stuck in the halls of Val'kyr. Either way, with our order hall running smoothly, it's time to focus on the main task at hand, getting our armies together to fight back against the Legion. Once, the mighty Titanforge Keepers of Ulduar and Odyn, they acted as one. But ever since Odyn broke off to create the Valarjar, not even Odyn's own son Thorim is bound to follow his father's advice. Now calling Thorim his son, I think this falls under the same idea of Helya being his adopted daughter, since the Titan Keepers, they were created by the Titans and not born into families. Now there is one hope to unite the forces of Skyhold and Ulduar. There is the Gjallar Horn that was a gift given to Heimdall before Odyn's departure. Now the Keepers of Ulduar, they're oath-bound to answer the call of the Kajala horn, were to be sounded, as it would signal the end times are upon us. Heimdall informs us that it was King Svergen's Stormcloak who was the last known living guardian of the horn. We find his spirit in the field of fallen kings within Stormheim, but his spirit needs our aid before he can help us with the horn. His family was disavowed by the mythics of their time, and his grave was ransacked. He cannot find peace while his family heirlooms are in the hands of the servants of the false god King Skovald. So we go about obtaining the crown of the Forgotten King, the Stormcloak signet, and the Drake Rider's medallion. These are the heirlooms that the Bonespeaker mystics used to tie his soul to this world. Under their curse, his soul could not enter the halls of Valor, but there is a way to undo the damage. A soul pyre within Housewald is used to throw his belongings to the flames, the fire that bound his soul through their foul magic. That will be the same fire that undoes this bond. As we go about doing this, the mystics are not too happy with our actions.
I can feel their curse weakening. You must stop them from interfering with the right. It is done! Bonespeaker dogs cannot deny my place in the halls of Valor any longer!
Svergen swore an oath to protect the Kajala horn with his life, and so he did. The horn, as well as his entire army, they were devoured by a great worm called Jorhatten. We send our champions out to track down this beast, and they report that it can be found at the highest peak in High Mountain. It has nowhere left to run, but it is protected by the Drogbar, so we must go out ourselves to slay Jorhatten, while Svergen Stormcloak, he decides to become a new follower.
To live again and to fight! The glory of battle awaits!
At High Mountain Peak, we find a Tauren by the name of Yarum Skymane, who will help us find the foul beast if we help him avenge his village. The Drogbar tribe, who worship Jorhatten, they have razed his village, none of his people were spared, so we slay Dorgrim the Cruel, Urgrel Skullcleaver, and a whole bunch of the Frostcracked Drogbar. As thanks, Yarum hands over Drogbar drums, which they bang on to call upon Jorhatten to feast. We do the same, but this time, the mighty worm does not find a helpless dinner waiting for him. This time, he faces the might of Odin's chosen, as we kill the beast and we claim the Kajala horn. Heimdall is so impressed that he too joins us as a follower, and before we call upon Ulduar to honor its oath, we should first bolster our own forces. We send out our followers to aid the Val'kyr, who are under attack by the Veilscorn Vrykul. We send them out to collect powerful armaments, who were lost when the great ship Vajeska sank at sea, and a group of mighty warriors loyal to Odin. They've been taken captive by sea giants and are being forced to fight in the underground pits. Our champions take down this fighting pit, set the warriors free. In the meantime, the powerful Valkyr's 7th Valaborn, she's arrived to aid us in bolstering our numbers even further. She allows us to recruit some of the most valorous Vrykul shield maidens into the halls of Valor. So all in all, it's safe to say that our troops are increasing rather nicely, but we cannot fight on two fronts and succeed. If we are to give ourselves the room that we need to fight off the Legion, we need to deliver a decisive victory against Helya. Not our armies, not our lieutenants, but the mother of the underworld herself. We're sent in to the Maw of Souls to defeat Helya, and along the way we encounter a familiar face, namely Yimmerong the Fallen King.
Your souls will drift for eternity in the tides of the underworld.
Under King Yimmerong, the Dragonflayer clan was able to claim dominance over the land, yet at the same time they were also dealing with the Curse of Flesh. This curse, inflicted upon them by the old god Yogg-Saron, it was meant to gradually transform them into mortal beings of flesh and blood. Beings who the cunning old god knew could easily be manipulated and killed. These Vrykul, created by the Titan Keepers, they saw their women give birth to small, malformed children, a development to spread fear and superstition amongst the clan. Some of the Vrykul even blamed Yimmerong for the affliction, but the king had his own beliefs about who was responsible. In his mind, it was the mythical Keepers who were behind the Curse of Flesh. The Keepers, who many Vrykul viewed as their godlike creators, they had not been seen or heard from in generations. Yimmerong convinced his people to renounce the silent and aloof Keepers, who had clearly abandoned them to this Curse of Flesh. He promised to unite all Vrykul under his banner, and his first decree, Yimmerong ordered his followers to cleanse the clan by destroying all of these malformed infants. Many of the Dragonflayers, they obeyed Yimmerong's brutal orders. Some, however, could not bring themselves to murder innocent children. They sought to hide their stunted offspring in a place of legend, and with heavy hearts they left the beloved sons and daughters in the care of the Vrykul, who inhabited the area known as Tirisfal. In the ages that followed, the afflicted children and their offspring, they would continue degenerating into the mortal beings that we now know today as humans. Meanwhile, the Dragoflayers, they still struggled to purge themselves of this curse of flesh, which eventually led to them placing themselves in hibernation in the hopes of staving off the curse. Then, during Wrath of the Lich King, we made our way to Northrend itself, to the Dragoflayers area in the Howling Fjord. We killed Ymmeron's queen, but the king himself, he was taken by the Lich King, and he became a boss within Utgard Pinnacle. He has cast off his mortality and demands vengeance, eager to show the terrible resolve of an awakened giant. Yet the king fell to the children that he had decreed unworthy of his clan, sentenced to death upon their birth. His soul was meant to go to the halls of Valor for being such a mighty warrior in life, yet the dark bargain that he made with the Lich King, that closed the eternal halls for him, and instead the damned king waits in purgatory on the shores of the Maw of Souls.
You have not won. You have only secured your own doom.
Perhaps we can change that, as on his body we find his broken blade. The king would make a fierce combatant were he to fight on our side, and perhaps we could persuade Odyn to force the Vrykul's king spirit to fight along our army.
Do you think you have won? You have merely survived the storm. The seas are unstoppable!
It's unfortunate that Helya survived that encounter, but she will think twice about moving against us when we're leading the armies of Skyhold. A glorious victory was earned, and we can even convince Odyn to raise Ymmeron. At first, the Titan Keeper, he doesn't even want to consider it. King Ymmeron betrayed his people, doomed them to a cursed existence. He might have died while fighting valiantly, but Odyn regards him with hatred and disgust, and the feeling is mutual. That may be, but what better punishment than to force him to serve you for the rest of time? Odyn laughs a deep booming laugh. You are a devious one. You are right, that would amuse me. Let it be done. And so, King Ymmeron is forced to serve us, something that the Vrykul king cannot really appreciate.
Why couldn't you let me die? Curse you! Curse your mother! I will break your head down your throat! You Odyn himself would you to the ground!
Another loyal follower, I'm sure. Now with Ymmeron added to the ranks, it's time to sound the Gajala horn and hold Ulduar to its ancient oath of honor.
Go now, armies of Ulduar! Heed Odin's call!
Mother! Though we are oath-bound to answer the call of the Jalahorn, we cannot! The halls of Ulduar have been overrun by the armies of the Legion. We are fighting bravely, but their numbers are endless.
Thorum, son, hold them off. I shall send my champions to your aid.
The temple is completely overrun. Let us crush these demons!
Time for battle! For Odin!
Ulduar is under attack by the Legion, and together with Finna and Ragvald, we fight off the invading demons as we make our way to the observation ring. Across the Shadow Walkway, we find Lieutenant Comtuck in a fierce battle with Dwalin Iron Rune.
Who is that fighting so fiercely ahead?
It appears to be a dwarf. How is he still alive?
You are fierce for one so small, dwarf. What happened here?
Fight first! Talk later!
Thank you. I was getting weary. The Legion appeared out of nowhere. They must have a portal nearby. Let's go find it. Hodyr's cut off from the rest of the temple. They'll surround him soon if we don't move fast. Hodyr's room's behind that door. We need to get it open. Grab a chain and help me. All together now. Pull!
Do this!
Put your back into it!
We can do this! Feel my wrath, fiends!
Hodir is surprised to see us, but thankful for the aid all the same. The Halls of Winter are now secure, but Thorim is still under attack within the Clash of Thunder.
Hooray! Thorim! Odyn has sent his champions to aid us.
You defile this
Unlawful?
temple with your
Leading
treasons,
Odyn's army?
demons!
Has my father lost his mind?
Crush these invaders!
You'll be surprised. This
Crush these
mortal slays
invaders!
demons as swiftly as Fenrir hunts wild deer.
Destroy
I shall be the
enemies!
judge of that. Plenty of demons up here. Let us see if Odyn chose well.
They keep coming. Crush one and another takes its place. I will try to stem the flow. The passage to the north leads up to the balcony. Assist Thorum.
It's too quiet here. I have a bad feeling.
Spiders! Feel
I
my
think one
wrath!
fell on my head. Get it off!
Worthless insects. You will beg for death before the end. Enough! I grow weary of you.
She's getting away!
She will not get away with this.
They are gone. The portal is closed. You fought well. I was wrong to question my father's choice. The forces of Ulduar will stand behind you if you are willing to aid us in finding Hodir.
Hodir is gone, but things could have been much worse, and thanks to us, Ulduar did not fall to the Legion today. It's a bit of a shame that we didn't see more of Ulduar. I'm very curious how the other keepers in Jaxtraman's prison were doing. But oh well, our mission is now clear. We must find and rescue Hodir. Heimdall believes that with the right power source, he should be able to reactivate and redirect one of the Legion's own gateways. This source of power comes in the form of demonic runestones found on the demons in the Broken Isles, yet the raw power is simply not enough. The Legion hides its presence in faraway worlds with very dark magic, so we must find a greater runestone from the Dreadlord Dantelionax within the Blackrook holds. As we prepare to launch an attack on the Legion's own world, it is important to not give reprieve to our enemies in this one, so we go out to complete 30 world quests, while both Thorim and Dwaylen Ironrune, they decide to join our army as our champions.
I will unleash the wrath of thunder upon our enemies!
You mean we get to work by your side to smash the fiends that attacked Ulduar? Count me in.
New champions to be put to good use, as we now have enough power for Heimdall to do the thing. Now we need to secure an active Legion portal somewhere on the Broken Isles. We send our troops out to investigate Felsel Hold, but it's not suitable for our plans. The other option is the area around Felblaze Ingress, which turned out to be the right call, so we secure the area and we get our troops ready to step through the gateway, journey to Niskara itself in an attempt to save Hodir out of the clutches of the Legion.
The Burning Legion shall regret ever laying their sights on my domain. My armies are at your command. Lead them into glory.
Their warlocks are striking at us from above, so we leap from Felbed to Felbed to defeat their riders. Something that reminded me a lot of the quest during Wrath of the Lich King, where you leaped from rider to rider to reach the top of Thorim's tower. With the warlocks defeated, we leap down to aid Thorim in taking out the Fel Annihilators, the hateful corruptors, and rescue Hodir.
No! Hodir! What have they done to you?
It is too late for me. I can only feel hate.
They've done quite a number on Hodir. He has lost all control, but perhaps there's still hope of saving him, as Lady Ranzara, she shows up once again.
I will not let you destroy my newest pet. When I'm through with you, you will all serve the Legion.
The Eldar Witch! Defeating her is our last chance to save Hodir!
I failed you, Val'kyr.
The fell energy. It is gone. The Legion will pay for this.
You've succeeded. I've opened up a portal for you to return. Hurry, I can only maintain it for so long.
We have done it. We've been able to keep one of Azrael's mightiest guardians out of the hands of the Legion. We have proven ourselves capable of leading Odin's armies and defeating the Legion all the way into their very own territory.
Let it be known. Today, Thanks to the new Battle Lord of the Valarjar, we have won our first decisive victory against the Legion in one of their own worlds. Victory to the Valarjar! Victory to the Battle Lord!
I am in your debt. The winds of the north are at your service.
Odyn joins our troops as a follower, and Odyn has been watching us. Time and time again, we've led the Valarjar to war with our weapon held high. Time and again, the halls of Valhalla, they thundered with the cheers of our victory. They've enhanced the forge, and now they are able to unlock our weapons' true potential.
Over the long ages of my watch, rarely have I seen a warrior so in tune with a weapon. It is as if your very blood flows through the steel. Now you hold a weapon truly worthy of my Warbringer. May you continue to bring honor and glory to the Valarjar.
Honor and glory we shall bring to the Titan Keeper, who's really not that honorable himself, considering how he left the Keepers behind because they didn't agree with his plans of creating the Valarjar. Remember what he did to Helya, how he punished Ymron, how he pushed Sigrid into embracing her father's gift and the Fel by ordering the death of her family. All in all, it doesn't seem like Odyn is the most honorable one himself, but what can you do? At least he hands out cool weapons, blesses us with power, and his armies of Valarjar combined with the force of Ulduar. They've been a great help as we assaulted the broken shore and are making our way to the tomb of Sargeras.
Many ages have passed since my eyes looked upon the halls of Ulduar. Perhaps I should visit my Watcher kin. We have much to speak of.
However, this is where the story of the Warrior Order Hall campaign ends, and since it's very hot today, I think it's about time to wrap it up. As always, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time, guys, see ya!